Are you doing lymphatic drainage and not seeing the results? Well, this video is for you. You're going to want to stay to the end because I'm going to give you all sorts of tidbits and tricks on how to improve your results from lymphatic drainage. And the two causes as to why you're not seeing the results outside of your technique. So always, always, always start with order, pressure, and direction. If you're doing those right, there could be these few things that just aren't hitting the mark, causing you not to see results with your lymphatic efforts. First things first, we have anywhere between 600 and 1,000 lymph nodes in our body. And 50% roughly is in our gut, along with 30% in our head and neck. That is a lot of lymph nodes in those two areas. We're going to be focusing on the gut component, meaning part of the lymphatic system's job is to remove digestive fat, so the fatty acids from our food, and bring it into the lymphatic system to circulate it throughout our body. If our gut isn't functioning properly, we're going to have issues with our lymphatic system. Now, a couple things to start to look at to figure out, is your gut part of the problem, is asking yourself certain questions like, how are you digesting your food? Do you have undigested food in your stool? Do you have issues digesting certain foods, like food sensitivities? Are they getting worse over time? Meaning, are you developing more and more and more food sensitivities, even though you're removing those foods from your diet? Do you have or experience a lot of bloating with eating? And it might even be bloating with drinking water. What is happening? Do you have cramps or gas? Do you have a lot of foul smelling gas or foul smelling bowel movements? Speaking of bowel movements, how often are you having a bowel movement? If it is not every single day, I can promise you your gut is contributing to stagnation in your lymphatic system. Because our gut, one of its jobs is to remove waste products from the food that we're eating, along with the second big component is absorbing the nutrients, vitamins, minerals from the food we're eating. So if we're not eliminating the waste products, the toxins, all that garbage in a timely fashion, what's going to happen is our gut is going to go to the second job it does and start to reabsorb it. And remember, if we have dietary fats, those toxins in that are going to get reabsorbed into the lymphatic system, putting more pressure on our lymph, which could be one of the reasons that you're not experiencing benefits or results, especially if you are retaining fluid belly button and down. Belly button and down can more closely be linked to lymphatic congestion in conjunction with dysfunctional gut. Now, taking it back to the bowel movement, you might be saying, oh gosh, yeah, I poop every day, not a problem. My next question is, what does it look like? If it doesn't look like long sausages, and by long, I mean if you look at your wrist to your elbow, that is the amount of stool that should be coming out of you every single day. And it doesn't matter, 1 bowel movement, 3 bowel movements, this is the amount that needs to come out. If it isn't that smooth, long, like sausage shape, it could be telling us that the gut is off. And remember, the gut is part of our drainage system. So if we're experiencing lymphatic congestion, lymphatic issues, and our gut isn't functioning, the gut is going to make the lymph ultimately have more struggles. It's going to become a bigger issue. So if you have, bowel movements that look more like chocolate bars with like peanuts, like full peanuts on it, and it's like bumpy and kind of cracky, or if it's like pellets, or if it's the opposite where it's more like pudding or even water, that definitely tells me that there is a gut component and your gut isn't functioning properly. It needs some TLC. Once you dive in to find out what exactly is going on with your gut, maybe it's leaky gut, maybe it's you're not actually chewing your food properly. That is actually one of the things that I see happen most often. We are a society that is go, 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 go. We eat on the go. We eat standing up. We eat in like 5 minutes. We shovel food in. The problem is, if we don't properly chew our food, we are putting more pressure on our stomach, on our guts, our intestines, which is then going to put more pressure on our lymph. One of the things that I always say is we have teeth in our mouth for a reason. Our stomachs, our small intestines, our large intestines do not have teeth. We have to use our teeth to break the food down. Otherwise, we're putting more pressure and strain on the other enzymes and the acids in order to break our food down, in order so that we can extract the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the proteins, the fats, all of the good stuff that we need to heal, repair, function, make energy, and we just don't have that ability. So the first thing I'm going to suggest that you do, slow down, literally slow down. Take 20 minutes to eat. Chew your food. And by chew your food, I mean, generally speaking, chew your food 32 times before you swallow. Now, with that being said, the caveat to that is if you're having food that is softer, more liquidy, it's not going to take 32 times. I want you to chew your food until you make it an applesauce consistency. Now, some of the things that you can do to help that out is put your fork down between bites. What that's going to do is it's going to slow you down. You're not going to just sit there shoveling it in. The other thing that I'm going to suggest you do is have conversations. Use food as a means to catch up, as a means to reconnect with the family. Find out, how was everyone's day? What was good? What do you have coming up? What can I help you with? It could be anything. Or you can even play a game at the table while you're eating. It just helps slow things down and get you chewing. The more that your food is chewed up in the beginning, the less pressure it's going to take off of your stomach, your intestines, all of those things for it to function better, which ultimately means as things get absorbed, like the fatty acids, it's going to be an easier absorption into your lymphatic system because it's been digested properly. So that's the first thing. Slow down, chew your food. The second thing I'm going to suggest is if you are somebody who has had your gallbladder removed. Your gallbladder is so important in bile production and storage. The liver actually makes the bile and the gallbladder stores it. So when we have our gallbladder removed, it's usually because of gallstones. But gallstones typically develop because of poor quality bile being made from the liver. Now, this isn't necessarily directly related to gut, but it kind of is because it's part of digestion and absorption. So if you've had your gallbladder removed, you're going to have to work on your liver, but you're also going to want to consider taking bile acids, so things like bile salts, to help you digest, break down, and absorb the fats from your food. That's also going to put or take some of the pressure off of the lymphatic system, making it easier on your lymph. The final thing, so I guess there's three things, not two things, three things that you should look at. How are you breathing? Usually when we have fluid retention from our belly button down to our feet, a lot of it has to do with how we are breathing. Our breath is the only thing that's going to pull that lymphatic fluid from our lower body up into the thoracic duct, which runs right along our spine, all the way up to the left side of our clavicle into the left subclavian vein. Because it doesn't have a pump, the only way that that happens is from diaphragmatic breathing. So if you are chest breathing, you are not going to have proper drainage. So take a minute a few times a day and check in. How am I breathing? How stressed am I? Am I breathing through my nose? Is my belly coming out? When we check in and we do a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of breathing a few times a day, it actually is going to help pump and get that lymphatic fluid draining from our belly button down to our toes a whole lot better. Let me know below, which one of these do you think is most problematic for you if you're experiencing lymphatic fluid retention in your lower body? Is it not chewing well enough? Is it having a gallbladder removed? Or is it not diaphragmatic breathing? I'm curious. Make sure you subscribe and I'll see you next time. Happy draining!